It's the grating queen.
I'm always grating a bit of zest, aren't I? This is tangerine, as you can see. It's orange and it's little. I'm going to make a couple of really nice festive Christmassy dishes again today. Now, at Christmas time, we always buy a lot of Stilton, don't we? Traditionally, we like Stilton. And we always, in our house, always have some left over because you can't eat the massive amount that you bought. So there's always a little bit left, and I kind of don't want it to go to waste. And it's really lovely. I quite often add Stilton to like a cauliflower soup, really lovely. But we're going to pot it. Now, potting cheese was a great way, for hundreds of years we've been doing it, a great way to use up all the odds and sods at the bottom of your cheese box. So you just put them all into a food processor, or if Victorian times you'd mash it down with a spoon, and you add to that some mace, a little bit of cream, maybe some sherry, and you whiz it all together, and then you've kind of, your old bits of cheese have been revitalised, and you can then spread it on bread, so you just don't waste anything. So it's the same principle, but I'm going to do it with Stilton and a few other bits and bobs, and I'm going to show you how you can make it go further. But actually, there's nothing wrong, and I do this as well, is buy the Stilton especially for this potted Stilton, okay? Because it's a great little starter over Christmas. It's a really lovely thing to put on top of a canopy as well, if you have a party with nobody this year. Yes, but anyway, you know where I'm going. And so on the side of that, I think it's lovely with that sort of room temperature or coldish cheese to, well, it should be room temperature, to have a nice warm chutney on the side. And this is one of my instant chutneys. So this you can cook and you can eat straight away. You don't have to wait for it to mature. So it's just perfect. And you can throw these together in 20 minutes. And, you know, it's just great for lunch. Piece of, you know, a slab of bread, potted Stilton, a smear of the chutney.
Or a cracker.
Or a cracker, indeed. Yes. So I'm going to have them on some of these crackers. Now, I love Peter's Yard crackers. I'm not doing an advertising thing, but actually that's what they sent me some. Kindly, they sent me some because they get a lot of great taste awards, and they sent all the judges this year who judged a whole batch of these, which was really kind of them. So I'm going to use that to spread liberally my potted Stilton. Right, over here I have fresh ginger, about a knob, which I peeled and I've chopped, red onion, which I've chopped, and some pears.
How big is a knob? Thumb?
I don't know, darling. Perhaps you'd like to tell me.
About thumb size.
Thumb size? Oh, okay.
That's what Jamie and all those professional chefs.
I thought you were just being filthy.
No.
And smutty. No? Change.
Your new jumper.
Could you just stop? Save my jumper. New jumper. Put it on top of the sofa. And she's just come back from a walk and she's decided to dry her feet on it. Ooh, little monkey. Right. There is the onion. And let me just turn this down a little bit. The onion and the ginger. I'm just going to saute that, okay, for a few minutes. These are plums. They don't have to be ripe. You're not going to get a ripe plum at this time of year. It's an impossibility, really, unless you've bought some that are home ripening and they'll be ripening in your fruit bowl. But generally, they are they're not brilliantly ripe.
Could you use tin plums if you can't get hold of
yeah, you could actually. I don't see why you can't use tin plums. It might just make it a bit sloppy. This has a firmer texture. Other chutneys I do are apple, date and walnut, using the same principle I'm about to show you. I do a really lovely Christmassy pear and cranberry one, which is really delicious. That's lovely too. And the whole idea is you just literally give it the chutney feel by using balsamic vinegar, and really don't spend a lot of money on it, and dark brown muscovado sugar. And so you use twice the amount of sugar to the vinegar, and then you should get that right amount of sort of acidity that just tweaks enough to let you know it's a chutney. That's the idea behind it. Right, so these onions, I'm sauteing. Then I'm going to add my pear, peach, plum, began with pea. And then I'm just going to leave them to cook for a minute or two. All right, just gently. Right, then I'm going to add my tangerine zest, tangerine juice, vinegar and the sugar. Alright, now in the meantime, it's all go today, it's all go. Here's my Stilton. So just mash it down with a fork. I'm not going to do this in a food processor. I want this to still have some texture, and if you did it in a processor, it would all go to a sort of very waxy, smooth paste, and we don't want that. We want the lumps of the Stilton in this, okay? We want it to be fairly free form. And into this, I'm going to grate 1/2 of a cooking apple, because I'm doing a half recipe today. In my book, it calls for a whole apple, okay? So I'm just going to peel that, peel it and then grate it. And then I'm going to do exactly the same with the dessert apple. And because it's really boring to watch me grate, do you want to come back? Yeah. Alrighty, so I've tossed the apple through. So I've used half a cooker and half an eating apple.
Why have we done that?
Because the cooking apple is slightly more acidic and sour, and then the dessert apple is very sweet, so we've got that combination in there. I think if you had all of one type, it would just be wrong. The balance wouldn't be right. So that's what I've done there. I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice over in a minute, but I'm going to also a little bit of zest. But I just want to go back to my chutney. So if you have a look in there, that
smells coming out of that. It's fabulous.
Smells good. Right, so just put this little bit of tangerine juice in, that's left over from the grating of it. So I've got those lovely Christmassy flavours in there. Okay. That goes in. And then we're going to now put in the sugar and vinegar. So, as I said, it is double the sugar to the vinegar. So that's the way to remember it. So we'll start off with 2 spoonfuls of the dark brown muscovado sugar and 1 of the vinegar, okay? And then I'm just going to let that cook for a little bit. We're going to have a little taste, let it cook down, have a taste, and then we can readjust the vinegar and the sugar. That's pretty much it. Oh, no, sorry, tangerine zest. Put that in as well. Okay. So just stir that and let that cook for a little while. All right, so lemon zest, we'll go straight in there at half. So this just cuts through that richness of the Stilton. Do you like Stilton?
I love it.
Yes, I think it's the king of cheeses.
Really, I like blue cheese.
I like blue cheese. Just love it. Okay, that'll do. A little bit of orange juice, but half lemon. Sorry. God, my fruits all mixed up today, aren't I? My plums wrong. My peaches. Okay, now finally we're going to add just a little bit of creme fraiche. Now if you have got single cream, use that. I don't, so I'm going with the creme fraiche today because I found that in our cupboard. But generally I recommend single cream in this. Oh, actually it wasn't in our cupboard, it was in our fridge, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably be a bit off if it was in the cupboard.
Close up, because I'm just going to put a little bit of black pepper in. No salt, because it's salty enough, Stilton cheese, okay? Don't need any more. I'm going to taste this, and I'm going to see if it needs anything else. If it needs any more cream, if it needs any more lemon. It just gives me an excuse to taste it. Needs any more. Oh, that's so lovely. I've forgotten how lovely that is. All that apple in there. This is a really, really lovely way to use up your Stilton. Or as I said, just have that on little toasts like that with a bit of the chutney on top, as to hand around to people, even if you just have as a starter with drinks. Or you could sit down with a little pot of this for your crackers to start, or at the end of a meal, just have the potty Stilton as opposed to a whole load of cheeses. You don't need to. You can just have that with some chutney and people just to graze on after they've eaten all the pudding. Right, now if you have a look in here, you can see, because I've added the sugar and the vinegar, it is now a lot more syrupy. So I just need this to cook down. I want all the fruit to be cooked. It's going to take about 10 minutes. I won't be cooking it at this high heat. And once that's done, come back and I'll be mixing it with that and I'll be stuffing it in my bouchée. If you wonder what the shuffling was, it was me trying to get the cracker out. I've got Stilton fig ones. I thought that'd be quite nice. So look, one of those. It's a little canapé. It's just a mouthful, isn't it? Well, if you're a lady and you're very dainty, it would be at least 2 or 3, but with me, it's just going to go straight in. This is still a bit hot, actually, so it's probably not ideal for me to be. You probably don't want it to be boiling hot, but you do want it to be maybe slightly warm or room temperature, but not straight out of the fridge, okay? That shouldn't be straight out of the fridge, you need neither. You give it about half an hour to an hour at room temperature. Yeah. Oh, good. Dainty. Ladylike. No, I'm having that warm. This is such a lovely contrast. This is Christmas. This is a Christmassy flavour, and actually doesn't cost a lot to make because it's the leftovers and the fruit. And if you haven't got plums, you know, use apples, use some raisins out of your cupboard, maybe some nuts, you got them hanging out, some walnuts, chestnuts, why not? So this is a very quick and easy chutney to put together. You can use it instantly, it goes with so many things. This particular one, the plum and ginger, goes beautifully with baked ham as well at Christmas and leftover turkey. It's ideal. Lasts about 10 days in the fridge. Yum yum. So have another one. Would you like one, my love? No?
Am I allowed?
No.
But you can have.
You're allowed one. Here we go.
Okay, well you better say goodbye then so I can try that.
Bye bye.